Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. We're all spread out across the world here. We're back with Milosj at Mad Specials. He's going to do some live printing today. Now, we appreciate it, Milosj.
You're welcome.
And we have Phil Schoen, our own Poly One, and he'll be doing some translating today. Go ahead.
Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, mis amigos, bienvenidos.
Very good.
Move over, Oscar.
That was for you, Oscar. All right, so we'll get started today. Milosj has kind of kept us in the dark what he's doing today, kind of show me his print. We are going to enjoy this. So, Milosj, take it away.
Okay, well, today I'll be printing 3 different bases, or actually 2 different bases and 1 mixture of bases, all tinted with black pigment. And we're going to be pushing it through a 300 micron film. So this would be interesting.
Yes.
To start, I will be using a high density clear 2. It's already mixed. So let's get started and have some fun.
All right. Now, are you mixing that with pigment or are you mixing it with finished ink?
I mix this with pigments because, I want to have the product as pure as possible.
Okay.
So let's sling in some ink. I don't know if this is going to work, but yeah, I never do.
That's the great thing about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can mix with a finished ink, but as Milosj points out, it's not quite as pure. If you use a pigment, you've got more of the base doing its stuff, but you can mix clear, especially into a finished ink, and get a very similar result.
Yes.
So again, we're pushing some ink through to make sure it reaches the bottom of the stencil, like so. Let me turn on this. Because I'm going to hit it twice, I'm going to dry it in between. My platens are still cold. When you print, always make sure your platens are on working temperature. That makes things a lot easier.
So you notice that Milosj pushed on the flood and now he's printing, probably not as much pressure, you're just going to let it release.
No, it's not much pressure at all. So now I got the first layer down.
Zoom in on that. Let's see. All right, you can see the surface. All right, beautiful.
With regards to pressure, with the higher viscous products, screen tension plays a part. I would always advise, if you can, invest in a tensiometer and regularly check your screens. For high build, I would typically recommend 25 plus. You can probably drop to 20, modifying the inks. But when you start going below 15, you're going to have trouble to get that ink to release, especially the thicker ones.
Yeah, if you have that thick stencil in it and your screen is too loose, it's going to ride. It's going to wave across the design and actually stretch the design. And a lot of times leave those edges kind of not square. They're going to kind of cave in.
Now we're hitting it again. But yeah, with not much pressure at all. Just put it up like that.
Yeah, now if you guys think about this, you're not printing on a shirt anymore. You're printing on other plastisol. So it's basically printing plastic. You should get a much smoother surface now. You can really see that surface looking great.
So yeah, twice would be enough for this print. I could print it like 3 times or 4 times, depending on how high you want to get it. Well, that's the first base. Now let's see what happens when it goes to the dryer.
I want to add too, the HC Clear 2, one thing you can do with it is as it comes out of the dryer, if you feel like it, you can touch that with foil and it will stick and it'll hold. It's a great
I can show that because it happens I have some foil right
You have everything.
Some things.
That brings me to another gadget. This is critical in a print shop. And if you're printing high build,
there we go.
You need a temperature probe. A donut probe, there are various things on the market, like the great with the light things.
Tapes.
But when you're doing high build, you want the crosshairs of the wires to sit at the bottom of the ink, not just cure the top layer. The heat has to go all the way through. So the higher the build, be more conscious of that. But this is a must and will save you thousands of dollars in regular printing.
Right.
Yeah, it's very important, especially when you do some big runs. Always test your dryer, because if you have a malfunction and you don't know it, like one of the panels has collapsed, you're basically into a lot of trouble when it comes back from the customer.
And the reason I like the thermal probe over like tapes or something like that, or a gun, you can be misled. If one of your panels are out, it just hits a certain temperature. You don't know what you're hitting. But with the thermal probes, you actually see when it hits it and if it dips during the oven.
Well, normally I would not do this with when it comes straight out of the tunnel, but I would heat transfer it, but with very, very low pressure.
Oh. Yeah, what I like about this look is, like, you can do we've done this before at my places I worked at. We did a really distressed gel, black gel, and then you put that gold or silver on top. It looks like it's, like melted aluminum or melted gold on this. It's like it's lamaze on there. It gives a really great look. And it can also sense the foil. Yeah. Since it's distressed, it looks really, each piece looks a little different.
Now, when changing colors or changing inks from for a high density or a high build screen, what I always do is I empty out the inks, so it's easier to put in the other ink, because there's always stuff that keeps on.
Some residual, yeah.
Let me do this real quick. So the next print, what we're gonna do is the cork base.
Cork.
These are all Wilflex products that I'm using right now, but I also am a huge fan of Rutland inks, especially the soft density base, because it's a really nice ink to print. It has a nice sharp edges. It's a bit like cork base, actually.
Yeah, the cork will end up with a little bit, rubbery surface than the other one. And so it gives its own look. In fact, you build up cork, and you can actually give like a cork-like look and feel. You can actually dig your fingernail into it, and it'll leave an indentation for about 30 seconds, and it goes away, just like as if you were printing a cork, piece of cork. Fantastic.
I'll dry this, and then I'll print over it with the cork base, just to clear out the screen for the ink particles that were left from the previous base.
Both the cork and the soft density, they're one of the easiest inks to release from out of high build. So if you want to start off experimenting, start with the less viscous inks, and they're more forgiving. The edges aren't as sharp, but you can build up to that.
A lot of the trick is how he's printing. So you can see he's flooding hard, and then he's printing with less pressure. And then if you ever flash print, you're printing with even less pressure. I mean, on an automatic, you go from a 45 pounds of pressure direct to garment down to as low as 25 pounds of pressure on your third stroke.
But that's a good point, Ray, in terms of it's always good to, when you're experimenting with these, to do it manually, because then you know what the pressures and what your hands, and then you can emulate that on the machine. But it's good to understand what you need to do with your hands manually and then set the machine accordingly. And it can be replicated. But to your point, if you just set all the heads at 45, it's going to go, hey, it didn't work. Well, I mean, what's happening?
It just pours down the edges. It really doesn't apply any more ink. You don't get that build.
Here we go with cork base.
So I think they'll notice, they'll see a surface change when you're printing the cork as compared to the HD clear. Right now that's still wet, but look at how clean that is on the first stroke compared to how the HD clear was.
Yep.
Well,
and that all has to do with viscosity of the ink.
Yeah, and HD clear will give you a rounded edge,
Yeah.
rigid as stencil, where something like a sharp clear, rock, a sculpture, the higher viscous, although the sharp clear is not too viscous, will give you that square edge. If the stencil is square, that'd be good.
But you can already see what happened because it has got a little bit of expanding agent in it. It's already built up to a reasonably good height. So
what's great about the cork and the sculpture is that when it hits heat, it goes toward the heat. It doesn't spread out like puff. It actually climbs up toward the heat. And you'll see you'll get a much more defined edge. And your surface will look more matte when it's all cured. That's great.
So we're going to put it.
When do I get that shirt? That's bicolor, man.
It's a medium shirt. I'll send it. Under one condition, I want a photo with you wearing it.
Okay. I don't know if you do. Actually, yeah. So those things, it's all plastisol, PVC plastisol, and it cures around the same temperature. So So you learn more Spanish for us there, Phil?
Sorry?
Muy bueno.
Oh, hold on. I'll just need to consult my... May take a little time.
See, we heard that our Spanish broadcasts do much better than our English broadcasts, so we're trying to bring it in.
Well, that's funny because, you know, Oscar's not Peruvian, he's Scottish.
Little do we know. Okay.
Ask him to look outside his window. There's like hills, lochs, trees, heather, wild haggis.
Yeah.
It's a marketing scam.
All right, here we go. This is the cork base. You can see how it more visual for sure.
So you see, it's a little bit shiny, and that's mainly because I put it through the tunnel on a lower speed belt of the belt speed.
Yeah.
It makes a little bit of shiny finish.
Nice.
I put this other one through the tunnel again. So then
I wrinkled up the foil.
Yeah. Well, let it cool down for a bit. Very important.
Yeah, that you see what he's showing is that the HC clear will remelt. And so you can actually, if you miss one and didn't get the foil on it, you can send it back through and hit it again. So it's quite a different surface there. Really good texture. Different. That's nice.
So yeah, so we have here two different. It's got a little bit more height in it.
Yes.
And this is all nice, but the fun starts now because I made a mixture from 3 different bases. And actually, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be nice.
The pressure's on.
I put it,
You can't mess up with special effects. Go ahead.
a little bit of high density sharp clear. I put a little bit of blush base in it and some new puff base.
All right.
And this is gonna be, I think this is gonna be wild.
Yeah, it should be. That's a party right there.
The good thing about mixing bases is you can't really screw it up because you don't know what it's going to look like. So there's no right and wrong until you print it.
My only thing is when you do things like this, what he's showing right now is kind of like our Infinite Effects package, where you're printing single bases together, you're printing different bases on top of each other, and then you're mixing them to make a new base. Each time, though, the most important part is write down what you're doing, exactly how you're doing it, because you get these happy accidents on press that are fantastic. Many times I've found some of my best effects by doing something like this. I call it a special effects lab or Infinite Effects, or I thought we call it first base program one time. It was always the same thing. So you have a mix of screens, mix of capillary films, and use different bases and kind of just go for it, have some fun. But many times I was going after a particular look and accidentally found a different look.
This is a little bit more.
Write it down, you're able to repeat it in production.
Also, in addition to that, not only the recipe, but Milosj just showed what happened to time and temperature. Record that, because you alter that, you'll get a slightly different look.
Right, exactly. And and the thing is, when you're running in production too, you may have a dryer full of garments, so you've got to watch where that happens. And if you can recognize why it's shinier, say, oh, it's getting too hot, I'm going to speed it up, the whole thing. So now we're getting this mixture. It's a whole thing.
We're cleaning out the screen again.
Mark Solodonic. I've been known to have some happy accidents.
I'm just like the Bob Ross of printing.
Yeah, that's right. Good comments. Kevin Koch. Milosj, the Groot is a magician. Fantastic.
Nah. Okay, this is an extra large, right? Are we getting near yet?
No. I only need a triple XL.
What are you saying? As long as it's black, I can make it work.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Milosj.
Yes.
A matter of interest. How long is your dryer, your curing unit?
How long?
Yeah.
It's a small one. It's a Fusion. It's got 3 panels in it.
So 6 foot.
I would say it's about 2.5 meters.
Yeah, that's my point. You don't need a huge big dryer to do this either.
It's about knowing your temperature and knowing how much time to have it go through there.
So it all looks the same when it's wet.
Yep. Now he's got plush in there. He's got all expanding. It should go a little crazy. I hope. If nothing else, it's going to have a different feel to it. That's for sure. I mean, you can do this same thing with suede or plush by itself. You'll see so many different looks.
And that's already.
Oh, wow. You can really see that. It's keeping its edge, but it's still you got a expansion.
And that expansion, we spoke about this in the first broadcast we did. You see how it's gone a little bit grey in comparison to the others, because as it expands, it will lose a shade.
Right.
Well, you can add just a little bit more of pigment to make it real black again.
Yeah, or if you're making a colour, drop down the Pantone chart a couple of colours to the darker version, and you'll get somewhere where you need to be.
Yeah, really, if you're making a color, it's kind of like you're adding white to it. So if there's some white in it, don't even add that pigment in. Just let it go. Hitting Pantones with these suede bases or the plush, you cannot guarantee it, but you can get to the expression of the color. You know, so you can tell your customer, listen, I'm not going to hit that exactly, but it's going to be in that family. You know, I cannot guarantee it. But that's what special effects are all about. It's more about the effect than the color, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got artistic license. You don't have to be too serious about it. Yeah. Record everything, of course. You need to do due diligence, but enjoy it. It's a fun thing to do.
Now I mentioned the special effects lab, and I mentioned the infinite effects. What Milosj is doing right now is exactly what you want to do. You want to make examples with your logo. So you can create a book and show your customers when they come in. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. It's keeping the clean detail, but it's giving you that soft finish on top.
It's really nice. This is why I added some HD in it. So it has a little bit more of stretchy effect or capabilities. Great for in the wash. So I'll throw in a little extra and make something wild.
So Mark Saldonic also mentioned one of my favorites. Cork and HD Sharp Clear through 400 micron gives you an amazing result.
Double XL. Right, double XL.
I mean, the good thing about this, Ray, you just touched on, we're using the same screen. So you've already got four with the foil. You can use the HD Clear for caviar beads also. They will stick to it. So with the same screen, you've got a whole plethora of special effects you can pull out of there.
So you worked that word in. I'm glad you did. Plethora.
Yeah, hold
on.
So just first base again.
So we do that. So what you mentioned, we have one screen going today, but when I like to set up my special effects screen, exact same piece of art as if you're doing a 6-color on your 6-color manual. Exact same piece of art, lined up the same way, but use different screens. A 230, a 110, an 86, an 86 with 200 micron, 86 with 400 micron. So you make that set up to where you can print on top of each other or in unison with it. And you do individual bases first, then you do print on top of each other, and then you mix the bases. And you'll get hundreds and hundreds of special effects. You can make a book in a day and a half and be able to show your customer and know what it took to get to that effect. As long as you show, set expectations. Go ahead.
This is the first layer. It's not completely dry, but I do not want to put it under the dryer again. So I'll give it a little bit of help.
I bet you if you stayed on one spot in that thing, it come flying up. So you make careful.
This is easy. This is the easiest way to make a texture. Just flood it like this.
Oh yeah.
That's where you have
Everybody
to know.
watch this. This is fun.
This is fun.
He's not printing it. He's flooding it.
Just flooding it. And because of the vacuum that's under it, it's going to suck out the ink. So how more ink you put on it, it's going to look something like this.
Wow. Just kind of kisses it.
Yeah. Now if you have this, you can overprint it with a based back white or whatever, and just
or silver.
Dry it first, and then just with a real hard squeegee print over it, and then you get all these because you based back the white, you get all these different shades.
Nice.
And that looks very nice. You can also dry it through the tunnel and then kiss it with foil.
Right.
It's perfect. You can go wild. You're just limited by your own imagination.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
So this one's yours, right?
Thank you. Bill doesn't get one.
I've got a drawer full.
I know you do. So, Milosj, why don't you show off the? We featured one of your prints on the invitation. Had some Luna Clear on it. Can you explain what Luna Clear is about?
So I got here this shirt for Ride or Die. It's a nice nice fashion brand for motorcyclists. And what I did here is just a normal print, but there's just a couple of tricks here. I put some soft density to give the lips some texture. Also here,
Nice.
and let me turn out the light. So you can see this a little bit better.
There you go.
And that's the black light.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
So
And that's an overprint Luna Clear, correct? That looks great.
So what I did for the glasses, because yeah, it's glasses. I used an HD clear mixed with Nova base or no? Let me see.
The Luna Clear?
Have a look when you wrote it down, Milosj.
Luna clear. Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. Luna clear. Oh, that's the black light ink. And
Yes.
this is just a transparent ink, but it makes it look like glass. I did the next print for this brand, and what I did is basically the same. So I tinted a phosphor ink.
Nice.
This same glasses, it shows it. It's transparent.
Yeah.
When you take a look at it in the dark, we'll go into the dark room right now.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow.
There you go.
Look at that glow. Wow.
You see? And yeah, I'm wearing this now. Same thing.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there's so many things you can do with bases. It's just like I told before. You're limited by your own imagination, and all you have to do is get a weird idea and try it.
Yes. Well, we sure appreciate your time today, Milosj. This was one of the best ones I've been involved in. This is fantastic. I love watching some printing, especially since I've been away from a machine so long. So
Yeah. Let us get back to the dryer because the tunnel, the shirt is probably out right now,
right.
and see what happened with the shirt.
Wow,
There you go.
that is great.
Brilliant, Milosj.
Now, yeah, we've been asked many times how you're going to do that. I said, what Milosj will show us someday, and he has today. So there you go, guys.
Well, this is the most simplest trick, and a lot of printers print this technique. In Turkey they call it mud printing. Here I just call it playing around with inks.
And like you said, there's plenty of things you can do afterwards now too. You put in a
Yeah,
press with very little pressure. You put a little, just touch it with the
touch it with foil or touch it with ink.
yes.
Get the same screen and just touch it, and then all the high pieces they will get the ink, and the rest won't. So you get like a two-color print, and yeah, it's nice. And not one shirt will be the same, but they will all look the same.
Oh, that's great. We appreciate it, Milosj. That's fantastic.
Thanks to your friend as well, Milosj, for filming that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, who's your assistant today?
My assistant cameraman is Marta. He's an ex-colleague of mine.
Hey, all right. Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for setting this up and surprising us. That's great. It's 30 minutes now. We need to get off, but man, I really enjoy this. We got to do another one soon.
Yeah, sure. You're always welcome.
Thank you, Phil.
Adios.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Okay, later. Bye-bye.